Move to debate on Part 2, Clauses 7 to 47 and Schedule 1. The question is that Part 2 stand part. The Honourable Shane Jones.
Kia ora, Mr. Chair. We're back here ploughing our way, sir, through this extraordinarily interesting piece of legislation that we on this side of the House, unlike the chairman on that side of the House and various other members, sir, we've placed ourselves under considerable duress and actually read this part of the bill. Now, so this may come as a substantial surprise, sir, not to the member, I must say, sir, who's on our committee from Dunedin, because I want the House to note, sir, if there's a person who has told us how much he has suffered as a consequence of poor transport capital allocation decisions being made, and, sir, items of vital importance to transport infrastructure being made in China, it's that member there, sir. And everyone in Dunedin should know that no one has been more critical of the National Party than that very valuable member, sir, who occupies, who unfortunately hasn't shared it publicly. But from time to time, sir, he does share with the Select Committee members how ho-ha he is. Now, sir, I understand that. I understand that, sir, having suffered a wee bit of demotion myself over the last... totally unnecessary, I have to say. Gratuitous almost, but let me come back to the bill. Sir, modernisation is a key feature of this bill, and RUC vehicles must have a distance recorder. But so I want it noted that there are some dispensations, there are some concessions, sir, because during the Select Committee process, we had some rather burly characters arrive. I think they were from Waikato, Hamilton, running crane companies. Now, sir, they were the characters that you were unwise to actually shake their hands, sir. They had hands like a square-mouthed shovel, and they're quite disinterested in the life of a parliamentarian. But they were more disinterested, sir, in portions of this bill which might have had them paying inordinately large RUC charges, yet their vehicles, sir, were only being used for very specialist tasks. And we had also my friends from the far north saying similar things out of the Building Relocation and the Heavy Haulage Association. So, sir, it's good to see, as a consequence of the Labour Party advocacy during the Select Committee process, and listening, whaitaringa, to the various submitters who made the effort and came to make use of their constitutional opportunities to address the Select Committee, that there will be some wriggle room, sir, and that those people operating those large vehicles won't be penalised disproportionately. So in that sense, sir, that's only another reason why we should actually support this bill through the duration of the committee stages. Sir, up in the far north and various other parts of the country, there are a host of our road user vehicle owners driving around on beaches, chasing wild pigs, occasionally chasing other things that might take their fancy, sir, and they do not always pay the number. They do not always pay their way. And, sir, they're probably not the most egregious of the offenders, but this bill here, in terms of, sir, ensuring that all of the vehicles have the appropriate RUC technology, it's designed, sir, to ensure that the net is spread widely enough so it catches all of the users. Now, sir, there will be opportunities, as the Minister and the Chair has said, where, for example, a vehicle is being predominantly used on a forestry road, a private farm road, or could be around in the oyster industry where they hardly ever come onto the main road, sir. They're not going to be disproportionately penalised, but they will still, sir, require some technology so that the authorities can be assured and the broader community can be assured that all users of vehicles, when going on the road, are making a contribution to the cost of maintaining our roading infrastructure. It's only sad, sir, that they are often using rural roads. And rural roads, sir, have been starved as a consequence of the misallocation of transport financial resources served by the current government. And with this headlong pursuit, sir, of ideological trophies, such as the Holiday Highway, which will never be built, never. It'll certainly never be built in the life of the Minister, who unfortunately blights New Zealand by continuing to hold the transport portfolio. But help! Wait, help is on the way. Hi-ho! That road, sir, will not be built during his time, and the funds, sir, that have been tagged for that road need, in many respects, to be spread across meeting the costs of our rural roads, because the milk tankers and the host of other RUC levied vehicles, whether they're logging trucks, stock trucks, before they get onto these much vaunted roads of national significance, sir, they are on rural roads. they are on provincial roads. And, sir, the small amount of RUC funding taken from these relatively smaller vehicles, whether they're paying all the time or not paying on time, is not...
Honourable Shane Jones.
Chair. So, sir, it's important when we think about the collection of this money that the technology is up to the task. But more importantly, sir, that when the funding is applied so that the roads that they're actually using, where they're incurring these costs, that it's spread evenly. Now, sir, I'm going to have more to say about that later, but the most... sir, I sense an air of anticipation from the chair of the Transport and Industrial Committee. He's just looking forward to a further iteration. Now, sir, far be it for me to disappoint both of those men from Hamilton. They actually need to prepare for Sue Moroney and a host of our other colleagues, sweeping all the votes into the kete. Sir, now this political kete, it's not like the Maori Party kete, so you put a pippy in there, it comes out the bottom. No, sir. Once those votes go in there, they're like an eel pot. They're like a hinaki, sir. Once they go, sir. Sir, just introducing a bit of cultural education for the Hamilton-based members, sir.
We know. Yeah.
Sir, your message is not wasted. Your message is not wasted on me, given that this is the second to last day that I will be occupying this particular position during this parliamentary session, sir. Now, sir, I want to come back to a debate that took place.
That means something.
Sir, I need to come back to the importance of modernising technology as we go, sir, about the business of collecting the RUC charges. Now, sir, the technology needs to be very efficient and effective because 2.7 billion, sir, is the overall amount, not all coming from RUC charges, sir, but this is a key contributor. So, sir, we are going to support the simplification and the modernisation, and this particular part, sir, it may not actually excite very many of our voters, and I dare say, sir, it hasn't even excited the bureaucrats, but unfortunately they are paid to suffer under this unwise government. They are paid to suffer, sir. But wait, help us on the way. Now, sir, it does outline the importance of ensuring that people who do own these vehicles are not tempted to fiddle with the system in terms of collecting accurate data. Now, so I need to tell a story about someone in Ngāti Hine, one of the tribes of Northland, unwisely trying to break away from the Ngāpuhi tribe, but that's another matter, sir, that's another matter. I met a chap in Moerewa Kawakawa from Ngāti Hine, and, sir, he complained to me that the gadget measuring the amount of distance he'd been travelling, whether it was consistent with the amount of miles he had purchased, because the roads were so bad in that Ngāti Hine area, so starved, sir, of transport capital, that it had shaken the innards of this technology, sir. So I learned something very simple there. I learned, number one, make sure the technology is robust to deal with the rural roads of Northland that have been starved of resources as a consequence of misallocation by the current minister, despite the fact that there's RUC money being levied and collected on a regular basis.
The honourable member. The time has come for me to report progress. And order.
The House is resumed. Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker, the Committee on the Road User Charges Bill reports progress. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. As many of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. This bill is set down for further consideration in committee next sitting day. Honourable members, the House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow, the 5th of November 2011. Sorry, you're right. It's the 5th of October 2011. Ka kite anō, good evening.